A quick note before we begin here, the real podcast starts at 5 minutes in. Holy moly.
Sorry about those things.
This is Ryan, and I am here with special guest RetroDrew. He's a talented guy with an exquisite YouTube channel, an absolute labyrinth of things to delve into, of content, of retrospective, of your normal perspective. But real quick reminder, I myself don't really do a whole lot of YouTube, at least currently. I've been on Instagram, writer sites like Wattpad, Miraquill / Mirake, Meraki, Comaful, and most recently Ritco, and an anime blog site called AniList. Oh, and very recently TikTok, where I've been trying to make surreal, abstract, Dadaist, absurd short skits. Emphasis on trying anyway. I'm a voracious playlist maker. I make YouTube playlists all the time. That's been my personal YouTube aspiration for a while, I guess. I think at the height of it, I had like 40 to 60 different playlists on an old channel of mine, probably even more than that. I currently have about 32 now, so wow. Without further ado, let's give it up for RetroDrew. And Mr. RetroDrew, what can you tell us about your internet content life?
Those of you who aren't familiar with my channel,
Again, his channel is called RetroDrew.
obscure gems, weird Japanese games, or just really good Japanese imports for a lot of retro consoles, including the Sega Saturn, primarily the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, and occasionally touch on other consoles. But yeah, if that's your kind of thing, then definitely go check out my channel. And as of recently, I've also been doing topic videos where I can kind of branch out and talk about games other than just strange import games. So yeah, if any of that sounds like reality, give me a look. And Ryan wanted to have me on the podcast, and as many of you probably don't know, we actually have been friends for quite a while because of music. This would be a really cool chance to talk about two of my favorite things, those being video games and music. And yeah.
Heck yeah. No, I'm ready. Heck yeah. So, epic intro right there. I know it's like 2020, who the fuck still says epic, right? But I'm gonna be putting RetroDrew's link in the description of this YouTube video and the caption of the SoundCloud. And with that said, I think it's time for the perfect segue to, real quick, ask the special guests what they think there is too much of in society today. Whoa! Before we get into video game music, and I ask RetroDrew about a bunch of stuff, and he riffs on about a bunch of stuff, because that's what you like to do. You like riffs. So, Mr. RetroDrew, what is there too much of in the world? And yes, we are epic high school buddies. Chilled out for a while, had a little band there that had like one official incarnation, but there was like a time where it switched a little bit.
That fizzled out, and essentially almost the same exact band members are now in an entirely different band.
But.
Like, okay, you're telling me I have to get more than one doorknob for my entire house? How many doors are going to be in my house? Tell me I can't just use like a chrome one? I gotta get this Vost faded black pristine chrome edition doorknob for my bathroom? I don't know. It seems a little bit much.
Heck yeah. Fuck doorknobs.
Fuck doorknobs.
Fuck doorknobs.
That's the first step towards healing this country.
You heard it here, folks.
Hey everybody, you're listening to the TooManyCasts podcast.
Too many damn podcasts, man.
We we are going to take a quick break and remind everybody that they should stay hydrated and eat well. Also, Drew sounded like he was right next to a radiator, so we had to just up and get rid of the radiator out of my room here. Now the recording should sound a lot better. Fuck radiators. There's too many radiators in the world today.
All right.
Oh my goodness. So that was a crazy little break there. Let me get my tummy fuller there. So.
Oh my.
Last we left off, RetroDrew, you were talking about, we were trying to talk about your Mario Kart music retrospect yourself. So yeah, if you could tell me your favorite one of yours.
I'll go right ahead. So the thing with Mario Kart is that I've played a good handful of the games. I mean, from the Super Nintendo version, which is the very first one, all the way up to Wii, and I've played little bits of Mario Kart 8 here and there, but I don't own a Switch personally, so I haven't spent a lot of time with it. But for me, the music in those games tends to blend in the background of the game itself, but so I don't recall a lot of it, but I did have some time to go listen to some of it while you were eating. And yeah, the TikTok clock theme from the DS games is really good. And one that stands out to me that I can recall is Coconut Mall from the Wii version, if you're familiar with that one.
Coconut Mall? Oh my
Yeah,
god, it's been forever since I played Mario Kart Wii. I played that game a lot. Do you remember back when our mall had a store called Gamepad?
Absolutely, I remember Gamepad. I actually
yeah.
have a lot of fond memories because a lot of my physical collecting for retro systems started there because they sold retro games. I'm actually going to talk about Gamepad in a future episode. Maybe I'll have you on for that so you can recount some memories there too.
Fuck yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh my god, that's crazy. Oh my god, that's so crazy because I legit had a lot of formative memories there too. Yeah, so back then though, at that place, because you could, do that thing where you rent like an hour to just play all sorts of games. I would just constantly play Mario Kart Wii because I think at that time Mario Kart Wii was it was coming out in style. The Wii was fairly new back then.
Yeah, can you believe that the Wii is it's over 10 years old at this point, and I think it'll be 15 years old. No, wait, it'll be 20 years old in 2025. How unbelievable is that?
It'll be 20 years old in 2025. Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know. I was writing something the other day for Super Mario Sunshine, and it dawned on me, I've been playing this game for almost 20 years because I've been playing it since it came out.
Oh my god, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, Mario Sunshine is another game that I played briefly in my younger years. The context is fucking insane. So I played it once with my friend at his house in middle school a lot. Like a few times. He mostly kind of it was back when Let's Plays on YouTube were like a hot new thing back in 2008, 2009. And he was trying to play it, and I would watch him a lot, and sometimes I would play his thing. And then what he would do was he would watch walkthroughs of Super Mario Sunshine from Chugga Conroy.
Hell yeah, my boy Chugga Conroy.
Yeah. And yeah, fuck that. old times.
Old YouTube. Back in the day, we had Let's Plays from Chugga Conroy. I'll tell you about it.
Boy, I always drink the tender Capri Sun.
And right, and then before that, actually, when I was in elementary school, I don't know if you know. I have to look this hotel up at a later date because I don't know what happened. There was this hotel in Williamsburg I stayed in, and basically what they did was the hotel was so fucking bougie that it had video games in the room.
Yeah,
it was
I know what you're talking about.
It had video game room service, and
yeah,
and I played a lot of Super Mario Sunshine through that. So that was wild.
That's funny.
But back on Mario Kart music. Yes. Yeah, DS one is really cool. And then because I'm playing, well, that's the thing, right? And I don't mean to bring up the DS one to sound like old. Not that there's anything wrong with that because you're
No.
RetroDrew, but like,
Yeah, exactly. Who gives a fuck about that, dude? I talk about games that came out before I was born.
exactly. But it's just that on the Super Mario or the Mario Kart for the Switch, Mario Kart for the Switch is a funny one because it's just a lot of it has to do. There's a lot of old re-imported levels from older console games on this one.
Yeah, they
And a
did
lot of them are
that from
the
like DS
DS.
onwards, I think.
Yeah. So there's a lot of DS levels on the Switch game. So that's why the DS is fresh in my mind. And yeah, those songs. So wait, you had said that they blended in. You said?
They tend to blend in with the background, which is something that I think happens to a handful of different genres. Although I would argue that most racing games have amazing soundtracks that drive the fun of the game. See, when I especially on my channel, when I talk about games where soundtracks blend into the background, a lot of them are fighting games. Because you have a lot of simultaneous sound effects and stuff going on there, and I guess it's kind of the same thing with Mario Kart. You have a lot of sound effects. You have a lot of different chimes and jingles going off during the races and stuff like that. And I think the music kind of takes a back seat to what is actually going on.
I mean, I like background music. I love it when music blends in. But it's so funny though because some of those Mario Kart songs, man, were earworms over others. Like, there was some stuff that definitely just was not memorable, and then some stuff that totally was. And I therefore cannot imagine that it's a background song because I'm like, I can't get this out of my fucking head. But
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
One of those songs for me is like pretty much any rendition of the Rainbow Road theme is really, really good. I mean, even all the way back to the Super Nintendo version. But I think the Mario Kart Double Dash version of Rainbow Road is a serious earworm. Like, I can hear it in my head right now as I'm talking about it.
Oh my god, dude! I bet you there's like a fucking like lo-fi Mario Kart track songs to study relax to.
One can only hope, and if there aren't, then somebody on the internet needs to get on that.
Hell yeah. Oh, here we go. Mario Kart Rainbow Road Synthwave Remix Mario and Chill.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I will say Mario platformer music, more so like the later ones, like for the Wii U, and then the PU Wii U, and then the Nintendo Switch. Didn't stick out too much for like the platformer ones.
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros. Or whatever. Yeah.
I think yeah, because they're at a certain point they started like kind of almost reinventing the wheel with a lot of the music, where it's like, hey, we're gonna recycle this. We're just gonna use a different sound font or a different synth for this and that, and same old song, but maybe new kind of style. And I mean, they even did that with like Super Mario Sunshine, but thankfully there's enough diversity of instrumentation in that game that every time you hear the old Mario theme incorporated into a new song, it feels fresh. But I think like further out from that, it just kind of got redundant.
Yeah. Segueing from that, there is. So I'm looking through like my games on like my Switch right now.
Yeah.
I have this game downloaded because it was like free to play, and it was on the homepage of like the Nintendo Switch like store news area. Tetris 99, and I know you're a fan of Tetris.
I am.
Have you ever played Tetris 99, and what can you say about Tetris music?
All right, so as far as Tetris 99, again, I don't have a Switch, so I have not played Tetris 99, but I think I would do pretty well at it, or at least decent at it, because I do love some Tetris. Tetris music, so I want to say, now I might be wrong here, I know that I think the Game Boy version recycles the same music from the NES version, and the NES version is like because Tetris is of Russian origins, they took a bunch of classical Russian songs and remixed them, as like chip tunes. So a lot of I can't remember the names of these songs, but I want to say like is it Black Swan? Something like that. Might be one of the songs in there, but it's really good. But further iterations of Tetris, and the Tetris I spend the most time with is a Japanese Super Famicom game called Tetris Battle Gaiden, and the music in that game is fantastic. Holy mackerel! Like, the game itself is already like a masterpiece, but you walk away from that game humming that music for days. And even now, if you asked me, to like hum a song from that game, I could probably do it right now.
Do it.
Wow. My gosh. And what was this game called, you said, that has the good Tetris music?
Tetris Battle Gaiden. If anybody is interested in knowing more about this game, I talk about it briefly in an episode on my channel called Cheap Yet Good Imports. So check that out.
What a fucking overloaded name. Battle Gaiden.
You've no idea. Dealing with a lot of Japanese import games, their titles are unbelievably long. Because, in America, like here, Cheat Buster, Super Mario Bros, Contra. In Japan, it's like, Origami Soi Kata Densetsu Gaiden. It's crazy shit. Yeah.
I love that. Oh my god. Fuck, you're reminding me that I was actually learning some Japanese a little bit on Duolingo a few weeks ago.
Nice. I aspire to learn Japanese one day, but today is not that day.
Yeah. I was I realized the other day that learning Korean is actually harder for me anyway than Japanese. But let's see. So, I mean, going forward here.
Yep.
You said you know you have some like stuff that you wanted to riff on, because I mean I know I didn't let you finish talking about DuckTales and the Mario, the
Super Mario Land. Yeah.
Super Mario L word. And then also, I mean, we got some stuff on deck with we talk about. Like, I want to interrogate you on Space Invaders and Gunfight and Pac-Man.
It's funny. It's like that's almost too early. Like, I mean, okay,
wow.
I've played a handful of Pac-Man and Galaga and Space Invaders, but I wouldn't consider those any of my favorite retro games. Those are like very early simplistic arcade games. I really kind of like NES onwards is really where I find my love for retro games, because they're a little bit more complex than just here's stuff on a screen that you have to do.
So there's less Frogger and more Dig Dug? No, I don't know. More Super Mario Bros. 3?
You know what? That's a game I have not put a lot of time into. A little
Isn't
confession
that the one
there.
where he gets to nuke the raccoon suit?
Yeah, that's where all like the crazy power-ups really started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, here's a funny bit. We're gonna make this a funny bit. Add background
Oh my god,
laughter.
bit
All right.
that's funny. Whoa.
Whoa, what? No! Alright. How much do you know about Gunfight?
Not much at all.
Okay, how much do you know about Pac-Man?
Pac-Man, I can tell you the tidbit that everybody knows, that his name comes from Paku Paku, which is like the noise that one makes when they open their mouth and close it in Japan.
It also just sounds like his noise, doesn't it? Waka waka waka.
Waka 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 waka.
Yeah.
I guess kind of. I mean, that's probably what they were going for with that sound.
He's named after his own noise. So is Pac-Man like a fucking Pokemon? Oh my god, he's the first
He might
Pokemon.
be. Pac-Man confirmed for the first Pokemon.
There we go. He's like stronger than fucking Arceus and Mew.
Pac-Chew. Paku-Chew. Oh gosh.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
Throw a cigarette packet chew. Ha 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 ha. How much do you know about pole position?
Pole position. That's one I've played on the Atari a little bit. I don't quote me on this, but that might be the very first racing game.
Let's see. Pole Position was the first racing video game to feature a track based on a real racing circuit.
There we go.
Also the first game to feature a qualifying lap, requiring the player to complete a time trial before they can play the Grand Prix. if you control F first on the Wikipedia, look up the word first on the Wikipedia, you get a lot of stuff, but it's not.
I'm not
let's
surprised.
see. It's not saying it was the first racing game ever. It's saying the first racing game based on a real-world racing circuit.
Okay.
That's really it. Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of interesting.
Wow. So when did you get to playing this? Is this on your channel?
No, that's far too common. And again, I think the Atari. Well, I do like the Atari, and I've played a handful of games for it. There's not really enough substance to those games for me to give them a review, because I mean, you can kind of sum up a lot of Atari games in a sentence or two, whereas something like a Super Mario Brothers, you could kind of go on about for a little bit longer.
Well, no, that was actually a cool little break. Cool little pause there. Let's see. So Super Mario Land, and DuckTales. Getting back to that, because I don't let you finish that.
Yeah, I've got a handful of other game music I could talk about. Are you familiar with the Mega Man series?
Mega Man series. Let's see. The famous game. I believe the video game. Let's see. So I read the manga. I got like a volume of it one time when I was really young.
Are you maybe confusing the Mega Man series with oh god, what's his name? Astro Boy?
No. Mega Man had an anime and a manga.
Well, I know it had an American anime. I know that. I did not know it had a manga.
Oh yeah, maybe the manga was American too, but I don't know. Whoops. Yeah. Here. Maybe I'll send this to you in a bit. But like, yeah. And then I played the famous Mega Man game that's like really fucking hard. That starts off with like going up. It's like going up a tower or an elevator, and it says like in the year 20XX, I believe. Right?
All right, yeah, that's Mega Man 2. That is the famous one.
Okay. Yes. Yep.
So a lot of people.
Really
go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying, yeah, it's really hard. I played that a number of times when I was younger. My family is into that one. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, Mega Man 2. That's the famous one, and honestly, that one, by everybody's standards, is the best one and the easiest one. Hold on, I gotta deal with my cat here for a second. Hi, buddy. Maybe you could sit on me later. All right. Well, he might jump up here and annoy me. Okay. We're all good to go. But anyways, Mega Man 2, widely considered by many to be the best, and widely considered by many to have the best music. But in recent years, I feel that has changed. So in 2008, 2008, Capcom decided, you know what, we need to reinvigorate the Mega Man series. We're gonna make a Mega Man 9, and Mega Man 9 kind of takes everything that was great about 2 and amplifies it by like 10. And that includes the music. So the music in 2 is already fantastic, as well as just kind of the rest of the series music. But Mega Man's 9 music is some of the best. And they are the definition of earworms. They stick to your brain like bubblegum tar. And I want to say yeah, I know, that's quite the metaphor there.
Lovely.
They do, and the best song in that game for me, the one I want to talk about, is Concrete Man Stage, which is, I mean, it starts off with these really nice, like, and this is all 8-bit music, but it starts off with these nice percussive drums, and it has a lot of, like, ascending and descending arpeggios that make for just a really good, driving, heroic-sounding tune that really has some oomph to it. It's a fantastic track. I highly recommend everybody go listen to that.
And what was this track called again, young
It's
man?
just called Concrete Man, it's Concrete Man's theme, and I think it might be called Concrete Jungle. Yeah. Fantastic track. I mean,
oh wow. Fucking looking that up, I get Concrete Man for Mega Man 9 OST. That's not what I want.
yeah, that's exactly what you want.
Oh hell yeah. Oh, this is a video from 2008. Oh god. This
Oh
is
yeah.
exactly what I
Wonder how that quality is.
Pause.
Terrible.
Alrighty.
Didn't grow past. Yeah. Oh my god, the highest quality for this is 480p.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, after Mega Man 9, I kind of want to get into a different style of chiptunes and video game music, and that's sample-based video game music. So, after the NES, you had the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, and the Genesis is FM synthesis. So that is all like based in actual synthesizer stuff that, you know, maybe a lot of people won't understand. But the Super Nintendo went sample-based, and when I say sample-based, I don't mean what you think of as sample-based music today, so like trap or rap music where you're sampling an existing song and using that and twisting it and all that kind of stuff. So sample-based music for the SNES was, I'm going to sample this specific sound from this keyboard, or I'm going to sample this specific drum machine so that I can use its samples to create new music. And that was kind of how the Super Nintendo operated, as well as the Game Boy. And my next game is one that you're probably familiar with, and that's Pokemon Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire.
Oh my god!
The music in these games, the music in these games are easily some of my most nostalgic. I can turn on those games, and the second I hear the music, it's like a time machine taking me straight back to like 2003 when I'm like 6 years old, and just pouring countless hours into these games.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. So let's see. I have an Emerald emulator on my Android that I'm actually pulling it up right now.
Very nice.
Have made it to the Victory Road.
All right.
I'm fucking lost.
You're lost inside yeah. Oh man. It's not too bad. You just gotta kind of keep following the ladders and the bridges. You just gotta watch out to not get taken out by your rival at the end.
I will have you know, good sir, that I had to watch a walkthrough at the end of this podcast episode.
Well, let's see. My Pokemon should be. Let's see. So I have.
Yeah, give me a rundown. Who's in your team?
Here we go. So I got Azumarill 52, Blaziken 51, Manectric, ain't telling me the level because it's frozen, 60.
Nice. Oh wow, okay, you're pretty well prepared.
Gardevoir 60. I have a Swellow named Tickle,
Okay.
level 55, and Aggron, level 55. Now I also have some more Pokemon in the daycare down by Mauville City.
Yeah, Mauville.
Mauville, yeah. So hell yeah, I'm trying to get him to be level 60 because I know the Elite Four in this game is actually like really shitty. Like they're really easy because I know that in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green they start off with like being level 50 and go I think up to 70 or 60. It's something weird. But like in Emerald and in the Emerald, Sapphire, Ruby, the first Elite Four guy throws like a level 48, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's significantly easier than past games, and that's kind of a trend with the Pokemon series, is that as it went on, they made them slightly easier. And I haven't played Fire Red or Leaf Green, but I have played Red, Blue, and Yellow a little bit within the last, 3 or 4 years. And I want to say that, yeah, their Elite Four, it starts at like maybe level 48, the weakest, and then ends with, I think, a level 60. I think level 60 is as high as it gets. Yeah, and then in Emerald, it's like, yeah, you start in your mid to low 40s, and then it ends at like your higher level 50s. Yeah. Precisely. Yeah, I love. So I don't know which town it is. God, there's this one song that I really recall being incredibly memorable. I don't know which town it's but it is in the Emerald games. And I think it's like dun 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 dun. Oh, that's the Route 110 theme, which is funny enough. That's the one I had pulled up if we were going to do little audio cues in this. That was the theme I had pulled up because that is one of my favorites. Yep. And I gotta say that the music in this game is phenomenal, and because a lot of music from the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy are all sample based, you can go in if you're into music like Ryan and I, you can go and download what are called sound fonts, and they are all of the sound fonts from these games, and you can throw them into a sampler and play them yourselves. And the sound font for the trumpet, or the French horn that shows up all over Emerald is like, I could sit there and play it for hours. It just is such a beautiful sound to me. It's like, oh my goodness, this is the sound of my childhood.
Yeah, well, God, and it's so funny, right, that we say like childhood now, right? Because I mean,
I know.
I don't know if it's cringier or not to say this, but it doesn't feel like childhood. Like, I mean, it does, right? Like when you look at like your fucking 24-year-old now who's just trying to find a fucking good job in COVID or whatever. But it's like, it really feels like, you're there, that you're a Pokemon trainer, and you're like, walking through, the grass, and like you're really in the environment, and everything is just coming up you and your Pokemon.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah,
probably cringy as hell, but,
no, it really. I mean, yeah. When you think back as a child, that's. I mean, these little blips, bloops, and graphics that we have. I mean, that's what it felt like for us. I mean, now you have stuff like Unreal. What are we on, Unreal 4? And stuff looks incredible. But even stuff that's crammed on this tiny little Game Boy game that's no better than 16 bits still can radiate that kind of energy. And I think that's what's so great about the soundtrack, is because the game prior to Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire was Gold, Silver, and Crystal, which were coming off the Game Boy Color, which is an 8-bit system. So you still have like your basic sine waves and stuff like that make up the music. It's more blips and bloops, whereas they really went with this orchestral, big and bombastic sound for Emerald and Sapphire and Ruby, and it really does feel in a way like there is kind of like an orchestra sitting in front of you. It's great. And I just want to also real quick say that if you want a master class in composition, listen to the Emerald soundtrack. Like, it is beautiful and brilliant in terms of like orchestral composition. It nails it 100%.
I bet you, man, and this is probably a total generalization, but I feel like there's the people who grew up with Emerald are probably grew up to be people who were at least somewhat into music. Because I swear, if you come across a person who's not super into audio production, and they're like, oh, what's that? Mixcraft, GarageBand, what's that?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, wait a minute, did you even play Pokemon Emerald? They'll be like, what the fuck is that?
You can tell that person is a Digimon kid, not a Pokemon kid.
There you go.
Yep.
God, I was not a Digimon kid. I was a Digimon kid for like 0.2 seconds. Like when I was, and then like, because I knew, so there should have been a character named Mimi who was blonde in like a pink outfit in Digimon. Other than that, I don't remember shit about fuck.
Yeah, I don't know shit about fuck. Good quote.
I was definitely a Pokemon guy. I was such a Pokemon guy that like, yeah, like I remember like just endless nights I would rewatch the same Pokemon movies. It was back when they were on VHS, when they were on VHS tapes.
Oh,
Pokemon
yeah.
movie 2000 and some other stuff. I would always watch them as a kid and just like eat Pop-Tarts. Yeah, hell yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
I want to bring up a real quick aside about the Pokemon movies, is that there are so many of them that they named the first Pokemon movie Pokemon the First One or something like that. It is something so on the nose. Yeah, it's like Pokemon the First Movie.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Let me see this. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
go ahead.
1998.
Yep, Pokemon
Oh,
the First
wow.
Movie. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That is interesting.
Yeah, do you have anything else to say about
the fuck?
Pokemon before I
This
move
sounds
on?
like horrible rating. Let's see. It's Pokemon.
Wait, Pokemon is being horribly racist? What?
Oh no, it has horrible ratings.
Oh,
And I'm like, how? Like, that's insane. Let's see. So I mean, I have a big recognitive memory with this stuff, right? Like, I can't really riff off the top of my head and be like, oh yes, Route 120,000. That song would, I would be singing that when I would make peanut butter and turkey sandwiches. No, but like, if you're like, you know, this one, and then you play it, I'll be like, yo, and then it'll all come like pouring back to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the reason I'm so familiar with the soundtrack is that it is one I listen to on a semi-frequent basis. It's one I go back to quite often. It's a favorite of mine.
Oh my god, heck yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. So the Diamond and Pearl DS games, as well as the Ruby Sapphire Emerald, were games that the music really stuck out to me. Let's see. Yeah, you know, it is usually like the route music too, I've noticed, especially in Diamond and Pearl. There's like a certain route song that comes up in Diamond and Pearl in the later game that it was really, really like pretty. It's like right before you get to the last gym, and in Diamond and Pearl, I believe that's like an electric guy.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have much experience with Diamond and Pearl. I really fell off the Pokemon wagon right after Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire, and I intend to go back and fix that and play a bunch of the older games now. But I just haven't gotten around to it. But you can go ahead and talk about it as much as you want. Your show.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much the summation. Like, the routes in that one, just like you said about the route in Emerald, a lot of the routes in Diamond and Pearl were really good songs. Let's see. You know what? Keep talking. Tell me something about another video game soundtrack that you like, and I'm gonna actually
try and find the song.
I got my Pokemon game up here. I'm gonna fly to another fucking city in Pokemon Emerald and just play it in my mic and see.
All right, go ahead. The next game I want to talk about is one that I've talked about on my channel, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's called Ghost Sweeper Mikami, and this is oh, I hear it. Yeah, that battle theme is iconic.
Yes! Oh my god, I love that battle theme so much.
Oh man, the trumpets. Oh, so good.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like, and I don't know, because I need to look up Fire Green or whatever. Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Fire Green and Green Leaf.
They weren't as Fire Goyam. I'm pretty sure like they're not as orchestral as Ruby Sapphire Emerald.
They might. Yeah, you might be right about that. I mean, so I didn't play them personally because I didn't own them as a kid, but a good friend of mine, would play them a lot. So I have a passing knowledge of what that game sounds like, and I want to say it was somewhat orchestral, but it kept it more low key.
Like, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much. Well, because I remember. So my experience with this stuff was like I had played. So I think I played it in reverse from how the games actually came out, because I believe it was. Let's see. So I thought Leaf Green and Fire Red come out after Ruby Sapphire.
They did. They were remakes of the first generation.
Yeah,
and if you notice, the trend of Pokemon games is that with each new generation, they remake one from, I think, like 2 generations back.
Yes. Okay, so these games come out 2002, and Leaf Green Fire Red came out 2004. Okay. Yep, because that's... So I did that in reverse, though, because that was just kind of an anomaly, really, because, like, I knew that Kanto came before Hoenn, so I was like, well, let me play Fire Red and Leaf Green first. And when I played the Hoenn games, the Ruby Sapphire Emerald, I was like, oh, this music sounds like a lot different. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that the music for for Leaf Green and Fire Red, as well as the original first 3, Red, Blue, and Yellow, I think it was produced, or the music was composed by, I think, just 2 people. Whereas when I was playing through some Emerald the other night, I want to say this game had 5 composers or something like that.
My god.
Yeah, so...
Oh my god. Okay.
So I can see why there would probably be a jump in quality when you have more heads together to create these intense melodies and compositions.
That is so crazy. Fucking not the topic to talk about, but like, fuck, who was your favorite Pokemon like archetype character? Like Picnicker and like
Ooh. I mean, come on. Everybody loves the cool dude, or cool trainer.
Cool trainer, exactly.
Yeah, cool trainer.
Cool Whip.
Wanna Cool Whip. Oh, I love me some Cool Whip. I love me some Cool Whip trainers. They do the best work. You know what I mean?
Funny, dude.
One of my favorite archetypes from the previous generation in Crystal was, I think it was like Fire Blower. There was like Fire Blower Kyle would like to battle, and I loved the way they looked because they're these large ball shaped fat dudes who were like blowing fire out of their thumb, and it always looked cool and simultaneously like funny at the same time.
Dude, that sounds like a fucking epic gamer moment, bro.
It really was. Confirmed epic gamer moment.
Confirmed.
You
epic
heard
gamer
it here
moment.
first in 2020.
Oh well, it's good to know that Ruby Sapphire have good ratings here. Nice.
Absolutely.
82% on Metacritic, 4.6 out of 5 on eBay,
20 out of 10 IGN.
20 out of 10 IGN, 2002 out of 2002. 94% like this game on Google, but Google is utterly literally overrated. Like, people like just constantly thumbs up anything. It would be like something like some terrible blockbuster. They'd be like, oh yeah, 87% of Google users like this movie. Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and look up Sonic 06 and see what the Google ratings are for that in contrast.
Okay. Sonic 06. Okay. 68% of Google users like this game. Interesting.
So what you're telling me is that 68% of 5-year-old children who got this game and didn't know how to play video games thought it was good.
Yes, precisely.
Or maybe it's all just Chris Chan.
I get the reference now.
Oh my god, I love the... Oh god. Some cringy reviews are coming up. It's a 5 out of 5 review, and the person says, I'm going to be honest with the community. I actually really like Sonic 06. In fact, it's my second favorite Sonic game of all time. The only game that beats it out is Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. And I'm not saying it's just because it's Sonic. I really enjoyed the game. Oh god.
That's... Wow. It's telling that his favorite games other than Sonic 06 are Adventure 1 and 2, two other games which have not aged very well if you go back and play them.
It's fucking insane. So, like, when you look at, like, Sonic Adventure 1, whatever the fuck, their mouths move with their eyes, and it's scary. Like, and then, like, when you look at Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, it's, like... profoundly better than the first one, but like
it's still there's still this like large amount of uncanny valley.
Uncanny Valley Ranch.
Which is bad for some things that already aren't supposed to look human.
Actually, wait a minute. You know what? The reverse almost happens in Sonic Adventure 2. When Shadow first introduces himself, I think he doesn't even have a fucking mouth, but he's just like, "You're the fake Sonic," and he's just talking out of his nose. I guess I don't know.
I also have to bring up the ridiculous boob jiggle that they gave to what's the bat with boobs? Rouge, yes. There's a video on YouTube, which I think is fairly popular. It's like Rouge boob physics, and it's like almost DOA levels of boob jiggle.
What is this area? Do you know this area?
That's the right outside the Elite Four.
Must be, because I'm technically right outside the Victory Road, so it's probably the same
yeah,
thing.
that's the sound. Yeah. The Evergrande City theme.
Oh, heck yeah. It's so when you first approach Evergrande City in the game before Victory Road, because it doesn't look like a city at all.
Maybe the city's underneath the Victory Road and we just don't know about it.
Evergrande City. Not
oh, that's what
Grande
it is. Evergrande.
$2.99.
At Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, eat fresh, vote Trump. Nope.
Eat Reef.
Eat Reef. Oh.
Yeah.
Someone's a fan of r/Spubby too. Let's see.
I want to kind of get back on topic here. If that's cool,
completely.
unless you wanted to have something you want to interject.
You were about to talk. So we were last on Mega Man 2, I think, in Mega Man 9.
I was. Now we'd passed that. I'm going to talk about these two games in kind of quick succession. So one of my favorite games of all time is called Ghost Super Mikami, which is based on a fantastic anime. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's all on YouTube from Toei Animation.
You Ghost Sweeper Mikami? Yes,
Yes.
I watched the video that you did actually on it.
Yeah, that's one of my more popular ones.
Cool kid alert.
And the music in that game, and the next game I want to talk about, Gundam Wing Endless Duel, again another anime-based one, were both made by the same studio, which is Natsume, and they have a fantastic track record of video games and music in on the Super Nintendo. And both of these games have fantastic soundtracks. They're both Ghost Super Mikami's is a little bit more diverse. Like, it has a lot of jazz influence in it, as well as some like good kind of synthy, like synth rock kind of stuff in it. It's really, really good in driving and I want to say like syncopated very well. Whereas Gundam Wing Endless Duel is very much like a cinematic rock type sound that really, really goes well with the fighting game it is, scoring. It's fantastic. Two really, really good soundtracks, and I wish I could say more about them other than they're really good, but they're really good.
Really good.
Yeah. I kind of don't doubt it. I mean, so you said it was like a rocky kind of soundtrack, alternative rock.
Not really alternative rock, like a cinematic synth rock kind of sound for
Synth
Gundam
rock.
Wing.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could just go listen to any random track from the game, and you really like, you're like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good music. And same thing with Ghost Super Mikami. They all have rock solid melodies that get stuck in your brain.
Wow. By the way, when I googled like the first one, Ghost Super Mikami, you come up. Whoa.
Very nice.
So
That's
Google-
cool.
So Googleable, dude. Let's see. So I'm looking at these pictures of like Gundam Wing characters and like the video game, and it's just like, oh boy, different time. This dude has fucking hentai hair. He's got.
Is
his
it like
eyes
the
are,
super spiked one?
Yeah.
The blonde dude?
Light brown.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah. I've never played any of the Gundam games. I saw like a Game Grumps thing of it forever ago, and it was like a fighting game.
That might be this one that I'm talking about.
I don't know because then there was something.
Oh yeah, that
called,
is some
like,
serious hentai hair right there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the fighting game I'm talking about.
I don't have a huge history with Gundam video game. They played Gundam Battle Assault 2. Okay.
Okay, no, I have not played that one.
Oh, and then they played. There's a thing called Big Zam, and Big Zam is supposed to be like this just horridly powerful like Gundam.
Nice.
That's right. So yeah, no Gundam games for me. So I've got some fucking new tastes here to check into, right?
Yeah.
I've got the history of Gundam for me is really just the animes. I started with Gundam Seed.
Okay.
And I think that kind of comes after Gundam Wing.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, because Gundam Seed still is like when anime looks like old-ish anime, and
Would it still hand drawn?
Well, I
Or
guess
was that
yeah.
past
like,
that?
It was. No, I mean it's in that transitional period
Okay.
between looking like kind of moe and still kind of like Inuyasha.
Okay.
like-
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. And let's see.
Okay.
here,
Yes.
hold up.
This is the Gundam Seed is in fact after Gundam Wing, because Gundam Seed first aired in October of 2002. So yeah, this is probably still digital. Wow. Looking at the picture here, our Gundam Seed protagonist looks a lot like what is it? Code Geass?
So that dude in particular, yeah. So he actually ends up being the protagonist in a second Gundam. Yeah, Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. He's the protagonist for the second Gundam Seed. The first
Okay.
one is a guy with brown hair, whose name is Kira, which is
Okay, I'm
totally,
looking at him here.
Yeah. Yup. And they both have the same dude with the purplish bluish hair on the left, the Arthron. It's a fascinating thing. There was a famous AniTuber did a review of it a while back. Actually, no, not a while back. Like recently. I was like impressed. I'm like, whoa, people still talk about Mobile Gundam Seed. Fuck. Let's see. Yeah, so I started with that, and then you go to like Gundam. Let's see, Gundam 00, and then Gundam 00, and then after that it was Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. I think was like the newest series that I had last. Oh no, Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphan, or yeah, so Gundam 00, and then Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, and then technically like the newest one is like Gundam Build Fighters, and it's like gone down back to like being for kids again.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it's gone to be like super cheesy. Oh wow.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You know, Japan's gonna continue to keep making Gundam. I'm sure there are bound to be plenty of good ones in the future.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But from the anime, I mean, I like a lot of the music from anime. But let's see, what's another video game that you like the music from?
Let's see. I'm gonna briefly talk about Street Fighter 2 because that game's music is probably just as famous, if not more famous, than the game itself. I mean,
There we go.
yeah. I mean, just about anybody can hum a Street Fighter 2 song, and stuff like that. And just typing in Street Fighter 2 music into YouTube yields countless remixes and covers. I mean, and even Japan themselves back in the day made a ton of really cool remixes of the songs. And I'm not going to remember the CD's name correctly, but I want to say it's called something like Street Fighter 2 The Vocal Edition, where they had a bunch of different famous singers from Japanese bands of the time come in and do vocal versions of like Chun-Li's theme and Ryu's stage and Guile's stage and stuff like that, which is really cool and interesting to listen to. Do you have any history with the Street Fighter series?
No.
Very briefly. Once again, not super big on the Street Fighter video game music. I know Street Fighter was definitely one of those, combat video games of the early days. I was more of a Mortal Kombat when compared to Street Fighter. Definitely more of a Mortal Kombat guy. But I saw an abridged series of the Street Fighter anime. And for a while there, I kept mixing up JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Street Fighter in my head. Because they look very similar, actually. There's an old JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime, not the new one, but the one. Yeah.
The one from the 90s.
Yeah. And I know, like, by name and by looks, Ken and Ryu, and a girl who has brown hair and like a red dress for Street Fighter. I think
Chun-Li. Even though it's more of like a blue top and then some thick old thighs that'll destroy just about anybody.
Yeah. Oh man, I have to I have to see what that girl is called, because it's a girl character. Other than that, and then isn't there a character who's a girl character who has like balls in her hair? Like she has her hair balled up on both ends, like panda-esque.
Yeah, that would be Chun-Li.
Okay, yeah. And other than that, that's it.
Yeah, all right, yeah. See, I'm on the flip side of the coin here. I was never much a Mortal Kombat fan. I was always more into the Street Fighter side of things. And yeah, I didn't always love the games. I was very late to them. But that style of fighting game appealed to me more than the Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat has these weird controls where it's a lot of like, hey, up, back, up, down, circle or something like that. Whereas Street Fighter, it's more of a fluid motion, and then pressing a button. So that just appealed to me more. But yeah, the Street Fighter games have some fantastic music, and again, tons and tons of people have done awesome remixes. And one that I wanted to briefly mention, besides that vocal CD version, is there's this awesome Japanese drummer I think he's like a metal drummer or a hardcore drummer. And he does this incredible this is basically an incredible drum remix to all of the tunes, and it's super, super awesome for just about anybody who enjoys music to listen to.
Music.
Especially,
Oh, does he do, like-
Pause.
So you said drum remixes?
he basically plays drums along to the songs. So he takes out the drums from the songs.
Cover.
Yeah, it's a drum cover.
Okay,
And he,
gotcha, yeah.
but yeah, he does like the crazy, almost like hardcore punk versions of these songs, and it's really awesome.
Cricket.
Duh. That sounds great. Yeah, I remember a while back there was back when I was in like early high school. I don't know if you came across it at the same time. There was YouTubers, drum cover YouTubers. Well, so first of all, at that era, actually, drum cover YouTubers generally were getting popular when I was in like 9th grade. And then there was a guy in particular who had done drum covers to Mario songs.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, it was for the original like platformers where remember like the famous second Mario level song that goes like do 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 do.
Yeah, the underground theme, denim.
Yeah, underground. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he did like blast metal beats and shit to that. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Maybe it's
really
it's the same guy, because that kind of sounds a lot like the Street Fighter one. That guy kind of does the same thing.
Well, heck yeah. But you don't know his name, so should I just look up like what Japanese?
I'll give this a
drummer?
quick search. If you type in Street Fighter 2 drum cover, it is the first video. It's Street Fighter 2 all stage theme in parentheses drum cover.
Drum cover.
Street Fighter 2 drum cover. Wait, is he wearing a mask?
Yeah, he's wearing like a
The luchador mask.
yes,
yeah.
thank you, a luchador mask.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Wow. Capcom spelled with some sort of foreign symbol, some ancient symbol there.
Ancient
Some
Chinese symbol.
hieroglyphic. Yeah. Is it perhaps the Ko?
Well, while I'm on the topic of music that has been covered and remixed a bunch of times, how familiar are you with the F-Zero games, the racing games?
F-Zero. Oh shit! I think I know.
Captain
zero
Falcon is
about
from
these
them.
games. F-Zero.
Captain Falcon is the main character.
Boy.
Falcon Punch?
Yeah, I know nothing except
Alright.
him, but I only know him, of course, from Super
Yeah,
Smash
from
Bros.
Smash. But I mean, the music even shows up in those renditions of the in the levels that revolve around them. But F-Zero for the Super Nintendo, specifically the Super Nintendo version, I think has arguably the best racing game soundtrack of all time. It is super in your face racing music. Anytime you hear any one of those tracks, like, you are pumped and ready to race some motherfuckers.
Pump me,
It
senpai.
is fantastic. Like, Big Blue is probably the best song out of the bunch. But it even... So I say a lot of them are in your face. But there are even, like, some more laid-back ambient tracks. Like there's a level called Silence. And the first half of the song is really kind of laid back, almost like elevator music, but, at a higher tempo. And then all of a sudden it's in your face with, like, these amazing, like, syncopated drum bits and amazing bass lines. So again, anybody who's looking to have a crash course in some amazing music and composition, check out the F-Zero soundtrack.
Wow. You're giving me so many good suggestions to like add to like a playlist for songs I can listen to in a bit here. Well, my gosh. Here, should I go back to this really fun, funky, epic list? Here, Mr.
Why, sure.
RetroDrew. Mr. RetroDrew, you are on trial.
Oh no.
Do you know how much do you know about Space Invaders music? Or is that still too?
I don't think there was music in Space Invaders. I could be wrong. but I want to say it was just like blips and bloops for exploding stuff.
How do you feel about those blips and bloops, dude?
They were very blippy and very bloopy. You know, the blips really complement the bloops, and then the bloops just they just PP hard. That's all I gotta say about
They
blips
PP
and
hard?
bloops. PP hard, yeah.
Fucking PP hard, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's see. So, this podcast is brought to you in part by the letter D for drink. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Thank you.
So of the Final Fantasy series, there, yeah, a lot of people. Some of those games are a lot of people's favorite games, and one of them that is pretty much kind of the black sheep of the series is called Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and it was basically a Final Fantasy game exclusively made for America back when RPGs weren't a common thing here. So it was a dumbed down RPG game, and a lot of people remember it for that reason. But the music in that game is some of the best music on the Super Nintendo. It far outweighs the game it is scoring. It is easily the best part.
Man.
So I highly recommend. Yeah, the battle theme is straight up like a rock banger, in your face, great song, and then a lot of it is very just fantasy themed, catchy as all hell music.
So I'm like a little curious about Final Fantasy. So like I've been very on and off and like in and out with Final Fantasy as like a series because so I am really OG with Final Fantasy. I played 1 and 2, the Lost Souls or something, and I think actually I mentioned this to you one day.
I think you made a post about it, and I was like, yeah, you play 1 and 2 on Lost Souls Edition. That's the best one.
Yeah. And back then, the sort of like, tropey thing to say was like, white mage, black mage, because like those are like two like archetypes that you could have in your party.
Yeah.
And I just saw, I was looking at some earlier today that was talking about Final Fantasy IV, and Final Fantasy IV still looks like a very like, like 2D, 8-bit-ish esque kind of game.
Yeah, I think that one came out on. Go ahead.
When did Final Fantasy start to become this, like, really cinematic anime-based thing? Like, oh yeah, Tifa Lockhart, so sexy. Like, when did that happen?
Well, the Tifa Lockhart boobage and stuff like that started with 7 on the PlayStation. That was like the big breakthrough title for Final Fantasy because, before that, Final Fantasy was. It was loved by gamers, but it wasn't like in America and other parts of the world, it wasn't a like huge deal. But Final Fantasy VII really changed all of that because it had a huge marketing push where like people who weren't even into video games were like, oh, Final Fantasy VII, that seems like it's a big deal.
Huh.
Yeah, that's kind of when that changed.
Okay, now that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it
That was
like
97, I believe.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, because I was pretty much like I grew up on 1, because I grew up on Game Boy Advance. I grew up on a lot of shit, right? We both did, I guess. But
Yeah.
I had a Game Boy Advance SP for a while, and that had I had the Sonic Advanced. Did you ever play the Sonic Advanced games that were like Sonic Advance 1, 2, 3, like the 2D platformers?
No, I've never been a big Sonic fan, but I'm familiar with the games.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, pretty much by the time I got around to like middle school, these games were so old that they were able to like become flash games online on like Newgrounds and shit and other things. Wow, lost that train of thought. Right, Final Fantasy. Right, so yeah, like the beginning of that game is so interesting, right? Because it's so nebulous and big. Like it's like the world has been plunged into darkness and you're in this crazy place and you and your white and blacks and other mages have to like, get out of here. And wasn't there a move called Blizzard in Final Fantasy?
I believe so.
That was like this pretty coveted move. It's very good. And then all of a sudden, I just wake up one day to a world where people are like, Tifa's got big tits, and I'm like, what happened? I missed a lot.
I think the whole like, you know, oh holy mackerel, look at the meaty boppers on Tifa kind of came from when the Final Fantasy VII remake finally came to fruition. One of the first pictures that got leaked was like this, you know, holy chest beefers Tifa Lockhart. Like, it was like her in a white tank top with some, you know, big old humongous boobs, and everybody was like, hell yeah. But then, you know, another good portion of people were like, guys, that's a little sexist. Come on, aren't we kind of past this thing? But, you know, anybody who knows Japan knows that they are anything but past boobs. So I want to say they gave her some reduction surgery in the final release, is from what I've heard.
Oh wow, interesting. Had no idea.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think they did go back and change that.
Seems
That
like
was
something
when
I'll-
you know, the world fell into darkness for real.
Right. So what was the next game you wanted to mention?
Yeah, this is the last game I specifically want to bring up, and then I want to plug a YouTube video that is not mine, but is interesting to anybody who is interested in video game music.
Oh, YouTube charity. All right.
Yeah. So the last game I want to talk about is what is my favorite game of all time, and that is Earthbound. Are you familiar with Earthbound?
So I know that has like what's it called? Alex the Kid or something? Is in
No, it's
Super
got
Smash Bros.
It's got Ness in it. PK Fire. Yeah.
Yes, there's a character called Ness or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the main character of that game, but
And that the game is called Mother in Japanese, I think.
yeah, it's Mother 2 is Earthbound in Japan. And
Yeah.
for anybody who enjoys music, you know, a little bit more than just listening to music, the Mother games, specifically Earthbound, have an incredible soundtrack to both listen to and learn more about, because it is very eclectic. I mean,
And rub on your feet.
yeah.
So, like, anyone who likes to listen to music other than just listen to, it's like, oh yeah, I like rubbing music on my hands. I like taking a chomp out of.
Well, you know,
music.
somebody who is interested in music rather than just, you know, oh, I like pop music. Anybody who delves a little bit more into it,
Oh, of
will
course.
probably appreciate something about Earthbound's music.
Yeah, history. Yeah.
So it's very eclectic. There's a very wide variety of genres portrayed in this one game, and I mean, all the way from like blues to full on like heavy metal with like double kicks and stuff in it, and like jazz, avant-garde, like harsh noise kind of stuff. It's all over the place. It's seriously one of the most eclectic soundtracks ever composed, in my opinion, and it's also one of the most listenable ones because it draws a lot from like the Beatles, and it draws a lot from pop music, but in like the best way possible. And so I talked about sample-based music earlier, but I was talking about a different kind of sample-based music. So Earthbound's music has examples of what you think when you hear sample-based music. So they will legit sample parts of real songs, slow it down, chop it up, and make it into new songs. And that is found all throughout this game, which was really unheard of at the time for video game music, but, you know, almost music in general outside of, you know, hip-hop. So that's what makes the game's music really, really fascinating. And Earthbound had to have a special memory chip on the cart because of how much space the music took up. I want to say there's 3 hours of music in that game. Which is ridiculous when you compare it to other games of the time. So your
Right,
typical
I'm sure.
your typical, you know, action platformer on the Super Nintendo, you're probably getting like 30 to 40 minutes of music, and Earthbound has 3 hours. So if I can
And
say
you
anything,
mean like, you mean like 3 hours of unique songs, not just like
Yes.
looped. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm
right.
talking about 3 hours of unique songs of all different
That
varieties
sounds-
and genres. So I highly recommend everybody go listen to the Earthbound soundtrack. There's a little bit of everything for a little bit of something for everybody on there, and I'll go ahead and name drop one of my favorites. There's a lot of ambient tracks on there that are very, very relaxing. Dr. Andonat's Lab is one that comes to mind, but my favorite is called Deeper into Ness's Subconscious, which is just this beautiful, like crystalline, synth-sounding song. It is gorgeous. It's very dreamy, and you can just kind of sit back, put your head on a pillow, close your eyes, and listen to it and drift away. It's gorgeous.
Hell yeah. Oh my god.
So I guess I will. I want to talk about this YouTube video real quick, and then we can absolutely wrap up because I feel like between us two, we've rambled on for far long enough.
I'm gonna have so much fucking audio. You're not gonna get your podcast episode until a month later. No,
That's totally fine by me, dude. I mean, but lastly, I want to talk about so anybody who is interested in video game music, especially if you're a music person like myself and like you, the impact that the Roland Synth Company has had on video game music is I would say is almost kind of incomprehensible as a Westerner. Since Roland is a Japanese company, and a lot of these games come from Japan, and until recently when Roland put out a new synthesizer called the Roland Jupiter XM, and it's basically like a synthesizer that has tons and tons of sounds from their pre-existing synthesizers dating 40 years back at this point. And there's a wonderful YouTube video by a channel called Music Track JP, and the video is called Roland Jupiter XM Demo and Review, and it is hosted by this wonderful Japanese man who I cannot understand in the slightest, but he's going through, it's a 27-minute video of him going through all these different sounds on this synthesizer and playing various different things, and just hearing the 2-minute intro of him just playing, you hear, like the last 30 years of video games encompassed in just this one synthesizer from years past. I mean, you hear a little bit of like Mario 64, you hear a bit of like Sonic in there, you hear some Streets of Rage, you hear some Donkey Kong Country, a lot of these sound fonts. You if you're a video gamer, you can easily recognize, oh, I've heard that here, I've heard that here and here. It's a wonderful listen if you're into that kind of thing, and I don't expect everybody to be, but if you really do want kind of like a crash course in how Roland synthesizers have shaped the sound of video game music over the years, this is a beautiful video to demonstrate that.
If you're an epic gamer, and there's not too many epic gamers anymore in the world, dude, yeah, you're gonna be looking at Roland Jupiter XM Demo and Review.
Yep.
By this guy.
Yep. I mean, even if you don't want to watch all 30 minutes of it, you just kind of skip through it and just listen to some stuff, and you hear some wonderful, wonderful sounds that, like right now, I just clicked at like 1:30, and this is definitely like some very PS1 N64 sounding synthesizer going on right here.
Fucking Lunatone! Anyway, this was an outburst because during the podcast I was playing Pokemon Emerald. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, bro. So anything left with you for video game stuff, or was that wrapped up?
That was really the conclusion there. Thank you for having me on so I could talk endlessly about video game music that hopefully people will find interesting.
Yeah, no, this is great. I mean, we had a silly we kind of just goofily sung the praises of like a bunch of these songs here, which is great. I just real quick, I mean, I had this in the script, so I guess I'll say it. There's
Go
this
ahead.
one, I don't know like what exactly it means to be this. I think he's a producer or whatever, and mixer named DJ Okawati. And DJ Okawati has made 2 songs for this game called Arknights. And I haven't played too much Arknights, if at all, but thing about it is, God, was it DJ Okawari Speed of Light and DJ Okawari Everything's Alright are like, I didn't know they were for like a video game because they're like so good. And it's funny because he has they've improved so much since like I first listened to them back in like around like 2015, and really they were. So I was listening to their early stuff too. They were really making music back around. So I don't know if you know Nujabes, right? DJ Kawari
Yeah,
is
of course.
basically around like Nujabes' like time period.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll send you like these two like songs in Discord back to back. It'll
Okay.
be like he has evolved so much in terms of the quality and production of his stuff, which is great. But yeah, so those are some other favorite video game musics. That's not good English that I've listened to as well. Heck yeah. Other than that, pretty much yeah. You know, medieval RPG music usually tends to be pretty cool, and Pokemon, pretty much, which is also an RPG game, but like Japanese and not super Western and witchery and Elder Scrollsy. But hell yeah. That said, I'm gonna go kick this Lunatone's ass. No.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, alrighty. This has been Too Many Casts. This has been RetroDrew.
Thanks for having me. I can't appreciate it enough. Thanks for having me on. Everybody go check out my channel if you have not. More importantly, go listen to this awesome music. And thanks, Ryan, for having me on.
Oh yeah, man, you're so welcome. Alrighty.
Too many damn podcasts, man.